Hello, welcome to Santuário Lunar. In this video I'm going to talk about negative thoughts. What are they? Where do they come from? How to deal with them? If you've been following me, this week, the first week of September, I made a weekly tarot reading and we've got a card called Oya Reversed. That card indicates that negative thoughts, the shadow, will be trying to influence our life, will be talking louder. But what is the shadow exactly? I mentioned in that video, if you are familiar with Jung, you understand. But what if you're not familiar with Jung? Now we'll make you familiar. Let's understand these and how to deal with this type of situation. So to start, we have to understand how Carl Jung explains our mind, our psyche. So take a look at here. We have something called the self. The self is the expression of the being. Me, I am talking to you, you are listening to me and watching me, or if you are talking personally. This expression, what I see from you, what you see from me, is the self. Is our visible part, our real interaction. The self is highly influenced by something, by another sphere, let's call like this, called ego. And inside the ego, we have something called persona. The focus of this video is not about the ego or the persona, but basically the persona are or is the masks that we wear during different types of situations. For example, I, who am recording the videos for you, the Daniel you see from Santuário Lunar, is wearing a persona, a mask, for this type of situation. So if you think I am likable, I'm happy, I'm joyful, it's just a persona, it's a lie. I'm not like this. I'm not entirely like this every day, of course. But this is not the focus. Acting on these, on the ego, and the persona, and the self, we have something that is not seen. You can see, I can see. I can't see my own, I can't see your own. And this is what we call the shadow. Everything we reject, everything we deny, everything we do not accept, everything we dislike is stored in the shadow. And we can't easily access that. We leave it there. We don't even know it's there. So we don't know the contents of our own shadow. The problem starts when the shadow starts speaking. It wants to be seen. It comes like, hi, I am here. And probably as we don't accept or dislike or deny these things, we don't want to listen. We simply close our ears. Don't talk to me. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to know you exist. I don't want to remember of you. And that's the problem. We can't find the shadow. We have to accept it. We have to deal with it. We have to make an alliance with it. To make it more clear, to make it clearer here in this scheme, we have another thing. Up here we have the outer world. So the ego, the persona, and the self are visible for everyone. And here we have the inner world. So our shadow. Inside the shadow we have another thing too. We have the animus and the anima. Animus are all the polarities that are that go towards a masculinity polarity, and the anima the ones that go for a feminine polarity. But this is not the focus of the video either, it's only the shadow. So in the inner world, inside ourselves, we have this shadow that we don't understand, we don't accept. The work here, we that work with archetypes, with symbols, with goddess, with gods, we have to understand and accept the shadow. And that's the difficult part, that's the complex part. When we don't do this, when we fight it back or completely try to reject it, it gets stronger and then it dominates. For example, if you remember the story of Demeter and Persephone, in case you don't remember, I made videos about them a long time ago, I'll leave in the comments. Persephone's story, Demeter's story is two different videos, but the same story in the end. It's about this, the acceptance of the shadow. Actually, it's not the acceptance, it's a struggle. We have Demeter, right? The goddess of fertility, of food, of everything, abundance and grains. And she has a daughter, Persephone, which is the perfect woman. She is like a model for Demeter. Demeter protects her a lot. So she sees Persephone as something fragile that nobody can touch. And then one day Persephone is collecting flowers with her friends, but then Hades, the god of the underworld, appears, gets Persephone and takes her to the underworld. Demeter gets lost because she can't find Persephone, and she doesn't accept something changed. She denies this, she rejects this. This changed Persephone, the Persephone she knew is gone. She denies, so it goes to her shadow, let's say like this. And then she looks for Persephone all over the world and she cannot find. She starts to get overwhelmed by the shadow and she gets depressed. So when she gets depressed, the earth dies. No more food, no more grains, no more harvest. Until someone discovers that Persephone is in the underworld with Hades. And who guides Demeter there? Hecate. Hecate gets her torches and lights the way to the underworld. In other words, Hecate gets Demeter and lights the shadow. You have to face your own shadows. You have to see what is there. You have to see what you're rejecting, what you're denying. So she guides Demeter, and when she enters the underworld, or her own shadow, she finds Persephone as a queen, as a powerful queen. She's not the fragile daughter she had. She's a queen now, and she's very well there. But Demeter doesn't accept that. She refuses the acceptance. She denies it. So she has a real problem. And when she comes back to the surface or to the self, she continues to suffer. The story is more complex, there are more gods involved, even Zeus, but in the end, Demeter gets something with the help of Zeus, that half of the year Persephone goes to the surface and stays with her, so she gets happy, and the earth flourishes. The other half, Persephone goes back to Hades, and she gets sad, she doesn't accept again, the shadow overtakes her, and the earth dies. So this is an example of what not to do. You have to accept. But now an example of acceptance. It's Inanna's story, or Ishtar's story. You probably know this as the Inanna's descent or Ishtar's descent to the underworld. I've never made a video about Inanna, I have to make one. Basically, Inanna, the queen of skies and the earth and the queen of everything, she decides to visit her twin sister. And her twin sister is the goddess of the underworld, Ereshkigal. So Inanna goes, beautiful, enters a portal and goes down to the underworld. Actually, she's entering her own shadow. When she enters, she passes through several gates, and by each gate, she has to let go of something. So she let go of her jewels, of her riches, of her clothes. She becomes more and more vulnerable as she descends. By the end, a spoiler on Inanna's or Ishtar's story, by the end, when she finally meets her sister, she let go of her body and she dies. But the story is more complex than this, and there are other things and other gods in the middle. The thing is, Inanna didn't fight, or Ishtar, she didn't fight the situation. She didn't fight the shadow. She accepted what was there. She died, but then she re-emerged to the surface as a queen again, stronger than she was, much stronger. And then she rules again with all her power, and she corrects many mistakes that were made and many other things, because now she accepted what was inside, what was deep inside in the underworld. So the task, when you have these negative thoughts, of course we are not considering a demonic possession of your body or someone else interfering in your mind. We are talking about your own self, your own shadow. When you have these negative thoughts, these crazy ideas, these destructive ideas and other things like that, it's your shadow talking. Things that you rejected, things that you denied that are there, and they want to be seen again. So they are screaming, they are yelling for your attention. You don't have to believe them, but you cannot refuse to listen to them. You have to make a strategic alliance with them. And that's when you overcome your shadow. You accept it, and it is part of you. And now you can conciliate with yourself, and then with your ego and your persona. It's complex, it's difficult, but it's a task we have to do. And we have to do it frequently, because the shadow is really, really full of things we don't know, we don't remember anymore. If you like this video, which is a very different video from all the others I've made in this channel, please give your thumbs up, subscribe my channel, leave a comment. And if you want me to explain more about these archetypical concepts of Jung and personas and ego and animals and anima, just ask me and I can provide this type of content too. Thank you so much. See you.